Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Freedom Adventure. It's been a while since we've uploaded content because frankly, we've been really busy. We've been busy just doing all the things that a conversion requires. It's very time consuming, and I just haven't had a chance to shoot any content. But the way things are coming across is looking really good right now, or the way things are coming along, rather. I'd just like to use this as an opportunity to show you guys what we're doing, and you tell me what you think. If you want to take a look, come on, let's go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. So one of the first things we needed to do with this thing was to make it look, well, less ambulancy. And in order to do that, the first thing we decided to do, or I decided to do rather, was to go ahead and remove all those lights from the top of the ambulance that kind of are one of the defining characteristics of an ambulance. And of course, remove all the EMS stickers and whatnot off the side as well. What we ended up replacing them with, instead of the big scene lights that they've got that just shine straight out and blind everything around you, are these little 45-degree angled LED lights. So we've got them on the right side, we've got them on the rear, and of course, also on the left side as well. Kind of like a Pizza Hut. You could always tell what it used to be, but at this point, it's looking more just kind of like a box truck rather than an ambulance, but it's coming along really well. Probably one of the first things that we did here, if I remember right, after doing the initial tear out of the ambulance, was the ceilings in this. And we're really happy with these. They came out really nice. We used a tongue and groove pine board. They look beautiful, and it's just, of course, stained and clear coated. Of course, it was one of the larger projects we did, but definitely one of the most impactful. We put this floor down, and we put the floor down quite a bit later on in the build. But once again, pretty basic install, not super difficult, but really, really impactful as well. So when we went to go do this build, there was a list of a few things that were really non-negotiable for me. No matter what size of camper I'm going to have, there's just three things that I really, really wanted. And those three, and I've mentioned them before, but are number one, a queen size bed, bed large enough for two people and comfortable at that. Two, a restroom that's as spacious as we could possibly get it. So there's a shower and also a restroom as well. Now, number three, again, not a tall order, but just a two-person dinette, something where we could both sit, eat, drink, be merry, play cards, just do whatever, and that was pretty important to me as well. And none of these are super tall orders, of course, but when you're talking about an 8 foot wide by 14 feet deep ambulance box, that's asking a lot in order to fit everything in there. But let me show you what we did, and we really think it's going to turn out pretty well. It's all the space we need, no extra space, of course, but let me show you what we did. Okay, so this is just a queen size bed platform. Standard size, I believe it's 60 inches wide, and I want to say maybe 82 or 84 inches long. I don't remember exactly, but it will fit a queen size mattress very well. It's actually got a little bit of extra room back here. There's a little bit of cut back there underneath of the window you can see. Also, right now you could see some tiles that my wife's picked out, and it looks like we're probably going to be using these stick-on tiles for the wall, kind of around the window, possibly on that wall in the back where the TV is going to go. But I think she's just talking about doing under the window right now. But anyway, sorry for squirrel moment there. Back to the bed. The headboard, we just used the same tongue and groove as what we used on the ceiling. Looks pretty good. We've still got to do a little bit of finishing up on it. Maybe a little modification at the end. I think we might be ending up trimming off just a little. But anyway, yeah, so that's the bed. Now, as far as the restroom goes, I can't remember the dimensions on this, but it's actually pretty large for any small camper, really. And this is kind of the outside. We used some cottage planks. I believe we got these at Lowe's. Turned out really nice and just added kind of a warm feel to it. Now, you can kind of see where the shower pan is going to be on the inside here. That shower pan, I believe we got from Camper Van HQ, and it just fit the size opening that we needed real well. And it's going to look beautiful just being stainless steel. Rolling back in here, as you can see, there's there's so much work to be done in here at this point. It's just kind of roughed in. You can see our airhead toilet that's sitting on there on a little pedestal that sits over the left side wheel opening, or wheel well rather. And this is going to be a work in progress, but once again, it's what we needed in terms of the size and just kind of what the hopes that we had that it would be. So what we're looking at over here is our little dinette area. Now, as you can see, we built a divider wall that kind of separates the cab from the cabin back here. And initially, it was just kind of a plywood divider. It didn't look really all that great at all, pretty plain Jane. And what we decided to do is extend the warmth of these cottage planks here on the side of the restroom and put that up front there as well. And we feel like maybe it took a little away from the accent wall, but we're going to have cushions going about halfway up that wall. And once it's all said and done, I don't think it'll take anything away, but it certainly ties it together and it looks really good. Now, the benches themselves, they're just nothing fancy. They're plywood benches, and the one that we're looking at here is actually accessible from the outside of the ambulance, at least on the lower half. It's just a little bit of storage. I'll show you here, maybe. Pretty good size amount of storage underneath of there. We just painted the 2x4s just so they wouldn't be raw wood, and we've still got a little bit more trimming out to do. Moving over here to the other side, same premise. The box couldn't be quite as deep because on the other side of this wall right here, there's what's left of the oxygen tank, and that we left there to house all of our solar equipment. And speaking of solar equipment, what's down here in this little cubby is actually the solar batteries, and of course they're covered in dust here at this point, just kind of like everything else in this build. But that's where those are going to be housed, and we're probably going to end up with an extra one up behind the driver's seat of the cab. Now, those were the three things that I really wanted: was the bed, the restroom, and of course the dinette. And here in a second, I'll show you the dinette tabletop, and I just got to grab it and put it on just to give you a feel for how that's going to look. The walls are, I believe, a 1/2 inch plywood, and we've secured those to the walls, or the actual 2-inch by 2-inch aluminum frames, and they're up there for good. They're not coming down, but they're going to offer a super strong base in order to mount another cabinet that's going to end up going over here. Now, the cabinets that I've framed out so far are just 3/4 inch plywood. Trimmed them out with some 1x2 on the front. Still got a lot of stuff to do, and when it comes to the cabinet doors on it and what have you. But they're going to turn out really nice, and we are going to paint those. Now, moving down here, you can see the lower cabinet. We've got our stove in place. It is not hooked up at this point. It's just kind of mocked up for the build. And, under here, I believe that's where we're going to have a trash can. And, of course, over on this other side, we've got the sink. And for such a little space, this is offering a whole lot for how little it is. We've got a really deep sink, nice 2-burner stove. And for the minimalistic approach that we're taking here, it checks off all the boxes. Okay, so going back over to the dinette, I've installed the tabletop, at least in terms of it being in what we call bench mode. It's I'm 6'2", and I could almost lay flat out on that thing. If I really had to sleep on it, I could. Somebody of a smaller stature, or yeah, they definitely could. Grandkids, kids, or whatever. If this is something that you guys like, please like and subscribe. I need all the help I can get when it comes to that. We really hope that the content that we're making here is going to help you guys in your builds, whether it be any kind of conversion you're doing, RV restoration, or just whatever. When we were first looking into doing a conversion, we watched a lot of YouTube videos, found a lot of content that was really helpful for us, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to do here, is just to kind of return the favor back to you. There, for instance, good example of something like what I'm talking about here is this restroom. The basic design of it, I believe, there was a YouTuber, Theory by Becky. Her van build is amazing, and that's kind of where we got the idea for this setup over here. Her door, of course, if you watch it, is on this side over here rather than on the side facing the door. And one of the big reasons she can get away with that is because her door is actually on the opposite side of the ambulance. But still, the premise remains. The basic shape of the bathroom came from that. There's just a lot of inspiration on YouTube, and we're just hoping to offer you guys a little bit of that. So if you like and subscribe. Once again, thanks for coming out and watching. We really do appreciate it. And guys, that's it for tonight. Happy adventures. Really hope to see you back soon. Y'all have a good night.